Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how you can make your own SDL project with C++ in Visual Studio. Let's get started. So to start off, I'm going to right click on my source files, add, and I'm going to add a class. And I'm going to name this class game because here's where our game code's going to go. I'm going to drag my game.h into my header files if it's not there already. And in game.h we go start coding our SDL functionality. So firstly, we want to include SDL, so include this. Now here it depends on the way you implement the SDL. I added a folder with a few of my libraries that contained SDL.h, but your project might be set up in a different way, so import SDL the way you want to. And I'm not teaching you how to import SDL in this video. You could search it on Google or search it on YouTube, and I might make a tutorial on it in the future. So outside our game class, first we need two structs. So we need a struct called vector2, and in our vector2 we are going to put in float x and float y, and then I'm going to make a new variable called this struct. I'm going to say struct color4, and then in here I'm going to put in uint 8 we are using uint because uint is a value that goes from 0 to 255. So because we don't want our color values to go over 255, so that's why we need to use uint. Then we want to make a uint 8 So here now we have our two structs that we would need in our game. After we are done that, we can now go in our game class and make some functions. So firstly we need a construct method. So I'm gonna make a game method, and we need a method to initialize the game. So initialize the game, and we need a method to run the loop of the game. So runs loop of runs the game loop until the game is over, and we need another method to shut down the game. So shut down the game. So now let's create these methods. So from our initialize method, so it's gonna return boolean. So let's type in bool initialize semicolon, and for the run loop function is gonna be a void run loop, and to shut down the game we're just going to call void shut down semicolon. Now we need some private functions and values. So for those I'm going to press enter and make private variables, and let's mark these functions public. So firstly I'm gonna comment out here helper functions for the game loop, and we're gonna have void process input. In this function we're gonna be processing all our input, and we need a void update game. We won't be using update game in our tutorial, but you might need it for your own projects. And we would need a void generate output. And now we need some variables. So firstly we want a window variable. So to create a window, let's create a window created by STL. So let's call this STL. That's going to be STL underscore window, and we need to make it a pointer. And I'm gonna call this M window. And we need a renderer for 2D drawing. So we're gonna make a render for 2D drawing. So this is also going to be a pointer. So STL underscore render render, and for this example, I'm actually going to create an update game function with some variables that you might need. So we're gonna, in our update game function, we're gonna be calculating the number of ticks since the start of the game, which is kind of like the delta time. So uint 32 m ticks count, and we need a is running variable. So game should be running, and for this actually I'm gonna call this game should continue to run. So bool m is running, and we need a value for the background of our window. So we want a window color. So I'm gonna call this make a colorful, which is the struct we created, and I'm gonna call this m background. Actually, I'm just gonna call it background because the variables with the m in front of them were related to STL. So background, and that should be all we need for now. So let's open game.cpp and start coding these functions. So in game.cpp, firstly let's use our constructor method. So game for our constructor method. So we just want to initialize value, so we could just go colon window parentheses window window parentheses, and I'm going to type in null ptr because we want it to be null or null pointer, and then we want to set renderer do null pointer as well, and we want to set ticks count to 0, and we want to set is running to true, and we want to set a background to a black color, but you could change this on based on what you want it to be. So background, but because this is a struct, so we'll have to use curly braces. So I'm going to go 0, 0, 0, 255 on the alpha, and there shouldn't be anything else for now, so just go put those there. And now let's start off by initializing the game. So let's call game : initialize. And firstly, we want to initialize SDL. So to do that, we want to go in SDL result equals SDL underscore init, which stands for initialize, and we want it to be SDL underscore init underscore video, because we want to initial video is basically initializing graphics. So now what we could do is we'll check if our result, so SDL result, is not equal to 0. We could simply SDL underscore log, and we could type in unable to initialize SDL, and we could just give the error SDL get error, and we could just return false. So after we are done that, we could start off by creating our window. So to create our window, what I'm going to do is create SDL window. So we are going to set our M window to equal to SDL underscore create window, and firstly we're going to give it the title, so I'm going to call mine game. Then we need to give it the top X coordinate, so I'm going to set to something like 100, and the top Y coordinate to 100 as well. And now we need to give it the width of the window. I'm going to go 1024, and for the height of the window I'm going to give 768. That should be nice. And we just want to initialize some flags here. We won't be using them now, so I'm just going to set this to 0 and semicolon. And now we want to check if the window is successfully created. If not window, we want to do SDL underscore log, and we want log field to create window, and we'll give error SDL underscore get error, and we'll also want to return false, so return false. So we can return false now. And now we want to create a renderer finally. So create SDL renderer. So render equals SDL underscore create render, and I'm going to press enter. So the render is going to be for M window, and now we want to set the second value to -1, and over here we're going to do SDL underscore renderer underscore accelerated, and we're going to put a straight line, and we're going to do present We do it on all caps and everything. And we could just put a semicolon there. And now we want to check if this render was successfully created for our final step. So node m renderer. We want to FTL log. And we want log fails to create renderer. And we want to get 0 here as well, like before. And we want to just do SPL underscore get error. And we want to return false. So return false. And if all of the things were good, then we could just go and do return true. And this will return true if all things were our render, our window, and our SPL were made perfectly, and then only then our game would be properly initialized. So now we want to run loop method. So we want to go void game run loop. In our run loop method, we are going to do while our game is running. We want to process input, and then we want to update our game, and then we want to generate the graphics. And for now, we want to just put in some basic things in our process input method. So void game colon process input. So we want to go fdl underscore event, and we want to do while, and we want to do fdl underscore poll event, and a reference to our events. So ampersand event, and now we're gonna switch on our events. So switch event dot type, and if we get HDL quit, so if we get an HDL underscore quit event end loop. So now we want to go case HDL underscore quit, and if we get a quit event, we want to set m is running to false, and we want to break out of this loop. And what we want to do is we missed a parenthesis bracket there, and we just want to for now add some basic input. So we want to get the state of the keyboard, and then we also add something to exit the game. So if we press escape, so if escape is pressed, also so end loop. So we're gonna add these two things later. And now let's go in our game. So we're gonna go void update game, and in our update game method we're just gonna calculate delta time, and we won't be using this in this tutorial. So first, actually let's do this later. First let's see how we could generate output. So let's go void game generate output. So firstly we want to draw our background, so we want to set draw color to the background color. So to do that, to load our background color in here, we first want to do the function sdl underscore set sdl underscore set render draw color, and we put parentheses and we load in our color here. So firstly we just want to give it a reference to our renderer, so render and comma space. Now we load our background, so background dot r background dot g background dot gb, and finally background dot a. And now we just want to clear our back buffer. So to do that, we want to clear our back buffer, clear back buffer, and we just want to do sdl render clear and renderer. And now at the end, so over here we are going to be drawing game components, and at the end we just want to swap the front and back buffers. So we do that by doing sdl underscore render present and renderer. And now we want to code our method for shutting down the game. So we're just going to go void game shutdown, and in here we just want to do some sdl destroys. So sdl underscore destroy. Firstly we want to destroy the renderer, and then we want to call sdl, and we have to specify our renderer as well over here, and renderer and sdl underscore destroy, and we want this time we want to destroy our windows, so in window, and we just want to call sdl underscore quit, and make this on capital. And it looks like I missed a void over here. Actually it was spool. And yeah, that should go fine. Now we want to make our main file that's actually gonna run our game. So we want to add, this time we want to add a new item. And it's going to be a C++ file. You could call it source, but I'm going to call it main. And once that's added, we want to go up here and include game.h. Then we want to make our main method. And once you've made that, let's create a game instance. So game and bool structs s equals game dot initialize. And now, if we succeeded, we just want to run our loop, game dot run loop, and then we'll automatically exit out when the game is shut down. So we just want to call game.shutdown over here, and at the end just put in a return 0. If we run that, let's see what the results are. And now on and now on your window, you should see a window that has the title called game, and it's just black. And if you press X and if you X out, you see we get no errors. And we could also now try and changing our background color. So let's make it a bit red and set this to, let's say, 63. I'm making up a random color. So let's run this again. You could see the color changes. Now I exit out. I'm gonna set it back to black. We could change this again later. And now what I want to do is code these two things we wanted to do. So now over here, we want to get the state of the keyboard first. So our state of the keyboard is going to be a constant. So let's first create a const. So const uint8 and there's going to be a pointer, and we call this state. We want to just set this to stl underscore get keyboard state, and we just pass in null. And now we have the state of the keyboard. So now we could just do anything with the state. So now if we could call if state square brackets stl underscore scan code underscore, and now we could just, now you see you could put whatever key you want here. So if we want to escape, we have escape. And now if we get the escape key down, we want to set m is running to false. So now if we run this, and if you press escape on your keyboard, the game should close, as you saw. And now we could add more functionalities like these. So now in our update game method, I'm just gonna code the quick thing we need to get the time to delta time. So I will illustrate and now we want to call a loop while not stl underscore ticks past want to put parentheses, and we want to in there put in SQL underscore get text, and we want to put in here text count, and we want to put in here, and we just want to add 16 to text counts. So we want to remove these parentheses, and we just want to put in a semicolon at the end here. And now we want to create delta time. So float delta time is equal to, in parentheses, SDL for get text minus text count, and that divided by 1000.0f should give you delta time. And now we just want to clam maxim delta time value. So we just want to check if delta time is smaller than 0.05. We want to set the delta time to 0.05. And we just want to update the text for count. So text count equals to underscore get text. Now our update game function is complete. So we won't be using this in this tutorial. So now let's actually draw some game components on our screen. So let's draw some sort of cube on our screen first. So to do that, let's actually get some properties. So firstly, for our properties, we want the position of our cube. So we want cube attributes. So I'm going to put a comment, cube values. So we want a vector to position for our cube, and we want another vector to scale, and we want a color for color of our cube, and these two values should be it. Of course, you could separate this into a different class, and I might make a tutorial for that in the future, but we're not going to be doing that in this tutorial. So now let's go back into game.cpp. In our generate output, I'm going to press enter below the draw game components comment, and firstly we want to set the color. So like basically, for example, if you have paintbrush, first you want to dip it in the color you want to draw. So you do SQL underscore set the render draw color, and render color dot r color dot g color dot b and color dot a. So now that we have dipped our paintbrush, now we want to have an idea of where our player is gonna be. So now in our brain, we're gonna think up of how the player is gonna be and how big it's gonna be. So FTL rect correct, and we're going to call this something like a basic cube, and we're going to put in here position dot x, position dot y, scale dot x, and scale dot y. Let's put a comment there. And now we want to, for our final step, we want to paint our rectangle. So STL, so fill rect, and we don't want it to be the normal fill rect, we want it to be the render fill rect, and we're just gonna put in mRender and a reference to our cube, so ampersand cube, and this should draw our cube, but firstly we need to define these values. So I'm gonna go in up here, and then here I'm gonna put in scale, and I'm gonna put in here 100, something like 100, and 100. And for our position, I want it to be kind of in the center of our screen. So to do that, let's type in position. Set it to like the center of our screen. So it's just let's put the scale of our screen 124.0. Divide that by 2. And then subtract that to scale.x because that's the width, and divided by 2. And we want to go the same thing but for our height and x value. So copy that, put that in there, just scale.x, scale.y. And now we just put in our y coordinate, so 768.0. And now if you run this, we don't see a cube. This is because, so you could go color and set it to white, 255, 255, 255. And now that should render us our cube. So if we go run this, you see we have our cube on our screen. It's not perfectly centered. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it's, you can live with that. And now let's exit out and let's add some sort of movement for this character. So what I'm going to do here is, for calling this cube, I'm going to call this player. So we're going to be our player, and in game.h as well we're going to just do player values, and I'm going to add a float value here. So float, call this speed. So, and I'm going to go initialize the speed up here. So I'm going to go speed and set this to something like maybe 2.5 should be good. And let's go down here, and over here we want to add our movement. So movement if state is FDL underscore scan code underscore W. So we're gonna have our WSD movement, and let's put these in, and I'm gonna put in 4 of these. So copy, paste, and let's change this to A S and D. So over here I'm gonna go position dot y minus equals speed, and we'll go down here. I'm gonna go position dot x minus equals speed. And you might be thinking it should be the other way, but I've tried it. This is the only way it works. And we want to go in here. We want to go position After this one is gonna be position dot. Okay, never mind. Dot y plus equals speed and position dot x plus equals speed. And now if you run this, we could see we have a cube and we could also move around. And now if we hit cos, and we could feed WSD with WSD controls, and if we could also add other controls, and we could also create other objects. So for example, so let's copy this code and paste them here again. So on display, I'm just calling cube and set position dot x. I'm gonna put in something like maybe like 200 by 400 maybe. I'm gonna set the scale to something like on our x 200 and 100 on our y. And for our arc red color, I'm going to set it to 5. Like 184. Like 100 maybe. Now set the alpha to 255. How does that go? Yeah, you can see that it generated, but there isn't really any collision, and the code you put on the bottom goes in front. So I'm gonna put this on the top. And if I run that again, see, we could move on top of it. And I'm going to try changing the colors around a bit. So let's go in here, set the color, background color to, how about 80, 20. How will that look? That look, is it a red color? So I'm going to set my background to something like, I don't know, let's say 80 to 54, 60. That should give us a blue color. And you see that we have a green color. And we could have a character moving around. Everything works fine. Let's create some more cubes. So let's go here. Let's copy that. And do that. And we could also put this in a function. Put the color of this to 60, 60, 60, and I'm going to put it a bit higher on the Y, so something like 600, and on the Y like 400, and let's scale the Y to like 150 to 23. When there was an error of that, there's the same value. Let's call this Q2. run this again. You could see both of our cubes are rendered on our scene and we have quite a colorful scene. So I'm going to quickly create a few more objects. And now you could see how quickly I could create a nice colorful scene with HDL. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed or learned something.